Main event. Really pleased today to announce that Sam Goodman is back and he takes on Mexico's Cesar Vaca. And Harry Garside returns, Australia's Olympic medalist, against Queensland's Charlie Bell. So a huge double header at the Hordern Pavilion on May the 14th, a Wednesday night at the Hordern Pavilion, all brought to you, of course, by No Limit Boxing Promotions. Really good to see both of those boys back after what have been an interesting last little period of their boxing lives. Sam Goodman and Harry Garside, the co-headliners of this big show, but we've got a stacked undercard as well, some of the most exciting young talent from Sydney and also right around the country. And to talk about what is coming up on May 14th from No Limit Boxing is George Rose. George, really good to see the two gentlemen either side of you back in the ring.
Yeah, two of the great gentlemen of Australian boxing. It's great to have them both on the same card here in Sydney, ready to rock a big show on May 14th. And I am really excited for both of them. You know, Harry's been on a different journey over the past few years after making his pro debut, and it's good to see him back on the pro scene. It's great to see Sam Goodman back in the ring as well after the tumultuous 6 months that he's had with what's happened leading up to now. It feels like he's taken an L, but he hasn't. He's still undefeated and he's ready to roll.
Yeah, what's that been like for you at No Limit, and talking with Sam as well over those last 6 months? Because everyone thought we were headed to Japan. No, in a way, with all of the belts in the division, he remains the mandatory world title challenger, but hasn't got that shot just yet. What's it been like?
Yeah, well, look, it's been an exciting journey for everyone to be on this Sam Goodman journey. The road to a world title, what he's worked so hard for his whole career, and he was in that position to head over and take on, you know, one of the greats of this generation. And I think for all of us who have followed Sam's journey, it was really tough for everyone to take. You know, obviously Sam, it's the hardest for him, but all of us were all on this journey. All of Australia had followed Sam Goodman to this point where he was finally going to get that opportunity that he's deserved for so long. He hasn't given up. He hasn't changed his focus. It's an obstacle on the journey for him to become a world champion. He's still IBF mandatory. He's worked hard for that position. He's been one of the most active fighters in the division and knocked off absolutely anybody who stepped into the ring with him. And he's going to do that again on May 14th.
Yeah, tell us what you know about Cesar Vaca. He comes from Guadalajara in Mexico, so the hometown of the legendary Canelo Alvarez. He's a 23-year-old with a 19-1-1 professional boxing record. He seems to do it Mexican style as well, an entertaining fighter. What are you thinking about this matchup with Sam Goodman?
Look, a very entertaining fighter, a very dangerous fighter. Like you said, he comes from the hometown of Canelo. You know, they breed him tough out of there. But Sam Goodman has never backed down from anyone. They've put the best in the division up against him, and he's never backed down from anyone. This guy has only got one loss on his record, and in that loss, it was one of the most entertaining, exciting fights that you'll see. He's a guy who does not take a backward step, and he will absolutely swing everything until that final bell. Sam Goodman's got a very tough fight on his hands. This is a fight that you know, it's a very high-risk fight, but Sam Goodman is the best boxer in the division, and he's a guy who's going to step up and take it on.
And is in a way still the ultimate goal for you and Goodman?
Well, Sam's an IBF mandatory. He wants to be a world champion. He wants to hold that belt around his waist. In a way, he's got the belts. In a way, he's undisputed champion. He's the guy at the top. And obviously, we missed that first opportunity, but it doesn't mean that he's off the radar. He's absolutely on the radar. While ever he's got them belts around his waist, he's on the radar 100%, and Sam would love that fight. We would love that fight. I think all of Australia would love to see that, and we'll keep working towards that 100% of the way.
Extraordinary to think that it's been 3 years, or at least it will have been 3 years on Fight Night since we've seen Harry Garside in a professional boxing ring. He's had a lot to do since then, has gone off and represented Australia yet again at an Olympic Games. Did you doubt at any stages that you'd see him back?
Look, Harry's a superstar in Australia now, so it's a pleasure to have him back. I wasn't sure if he would come back, given how well he's been doing everywhere else.
Have you asked him for a selfie yet today, have you?
Look, we've just got Greg to snap us one here now. So he's a guy who anything that he puts his mind to, he succeeds at. He's very, very driven. Probably one of the most driven people that I've come across, not only in Australian sport, but in Australia in general. When he commits to something, he's absolutely all in. He's one of our greatest amateur boxers of all time, and he's still undefeated as a professional fighter. He's a guy that wants to test himself in this professional space. And if he's wanting to go all the way to the top, if he wants to go to a world title, then we can take him there. We can absolutely take him there. He's a star out of the ring, but he's also a star in it, and it'll be good to get him to have that chance to remind everyone just how good he is of a boxer.
And he's fighting against Charlie Bell, 5-1 from Queensland here in Australia. What does this fight set up in terms of 2025 for Harry Garside if he can win against Charlie Bell?
Look, it welcomes him back to professional boxing. There's plenty of opportunities out there. There's a lot of great fights in his division. Depending how far he wants to take it, whatever path he chooses that he wants to take in professional boxing, we can take him there, and there's great fights there for him. So I'm just excited to have him back in the ring for starters, that everyone can get to see him here at the Hordern Pavilion on May 14th. In a cracker fight, welcoming him back to the professional boxing ranks, and we'll go from there. We'll let his performance decide his pathway. And
I'll talk about a couple of the other fights that will form this undercard as well on May 14th. Stevanovic will defend his Australian heavyweight title against Tuesi Vasutu, so an exciting heavyweight matchup that will form a part of this card. We've got Wade Ryan in action. Of course, we've all seen Wade in some huge fights through recent history in Australian boxing, taking on the ultra-impressive Mounir Fathi, who is here with us today and we'll talk to very, very shortly. We'll also have some of the most exciting young talent from right here in Sydney in action in Charlie, Kazzy, Ahmed Reda and Darren Garrick-Truella. Tell us about what you're excited about from that lot, George.
Yeah, look, you touched on the heavyweights. I think the Australian heavyweight scene is really lighting up at the moment. That'll be a great fight. We had a fantastic fight up in Newcastle, and I've got no doubt that this one will be a good one as well. But we've got some of the best young talent here in Sydney sitting up here at this table, and it's a great opportunity for them to be here and not only be here, but to introduce themselves to everybody who's tuning in, because these guys are really hot young prospects who could be absolutely anything. So every one of these guys sitting up here could be absolutely anything. There's big things on the cards for them if they can continue to progress the way they are. They've had great careers to date, and looking forward to how they perform on May 14th. I love when we get young guys on the show and they absolutely steal it. They put on big performances. We've got a few here now that have already stolen the show in the past, and I love that. I love that. I've got rubber arms. I often get twisted for a little bonus as well. So I'd love to be in that opportunity to be able to reward one of these guys with one of them bonuses too.
And it's all on May 14, of course, live on Main Event Television. You can access via KO and Foxtel. But if you can get to Sydney's historic Hordern Pavilion, George, not many better places to watch boxing from than right over the road here. How do they get tickets and when?
Look, we absolutely lit up the Hordern Pavilion only a couple of months ago. We'll do it again on May 14th. Tickets are available through ticketek.com.au. If you want to get on early right now, jump on nolimitboxing.com.au and register. You can get access to the pre-sale, but from 2 o'clock, everything is on sale. ticketek.com.au. Hordern Pavilion, May 14th. These guys are going to put on an absolute show. We've had 3 great shows to start the year with No Limit Boxing, and this one is going to keep that ball rolling for what's a great year for Australian boxing.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you so much to George Rose from No Limit. I'll talk to some of those young guns that we just mentioned a moment ago. Firstly, at the very end of this top table is Darren Garrick-Truella. He's a 23-year-old, 4 professional fights, 4 wins and 1 stoppage so far. Darren Garrick, great to see you again. Firstly, how are your hands? I think you had injuries to both of them the last time we saw you out against Calvin Jensen. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, feeling great. It's been a long seven so months off the hands, just fully recovered, and yeah, excited for May 14.
How exciting is it to be a part of a show at the Hordern Pavilion with some of the names that you see alongside you here today? Must be a great experience for a young boxer like yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm blessed. I'm on a great undercard of a Sam Goodman show. Not only Sam Goodman, we've got some great talent and some great fighters on this card. Hordern Pavilion will be a great show, a first for me. I'm ready to make some noise and ready to put on a great show.
Okay, thank you to Darren Garrick-Truella. Alongside him is Charlie Kazzy, who is a 19-year-old from here in Sydney, 8-0 with 4 stoppages so far in his professional boxing career. Charlie, very exciting to know that as we speak, the people at No Limit are negotiating a youth world title for you on this card. Would be tremendously exciting, I'm sure, if that can be secured.
Yeah, absolutely. I've envisioned moments like this my whole lifetime, and as a young kid, that's what you train for, especially to be fighting for a youth world title at the age of 19. It truly is a blessing, but hopefully we can get the job done come the date.
Yeah, what is it like as a 19-year-old to be a part of these sorts of big shows? You look around, some of the talent on the cards that you're involved with, they've been in the sport a lot longer than you, but you're 8-0 and you're just a child at this point. What is the experience like for you?
Oh, absolutely. This is what I live for. Ever since I was a kid, being around my father, who was a professional boxer, just you look up and you live to moments like this. And you know what? It resembles all my hard work and everything I've put towards this sport. So only through time starting to tell that I'll really want to transfer from a prospect to a contender soon.
Okay, thanks so much, Charlie Kazzy. Looking forward to seeing him in action again as part of this show. And we'll come down to this end of the table now with a 22-year-old from here in Sydney, Ahmed Reda, who is 5-0 with 4 stoppages so far as a professional. Ahmed, to you as well, what has the experience been like for you, so young in your professional boxing career, to be a part of these sorts of shows and to know that you're about to go out again at the Hordern Pavilion?
You know, it's been good, man. It's been really exciting, and alhamdulillah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be sitting on this table. You know, big shout out to the Rose brothers for putting me on, letting me showcase my skills, and I'm excited to do it once again. I can't wait for it. May 14, tune in, guys.
They'll tune in indeed. I know you've been outspoken about wanting to fight one of the headline acts in Harry Garside previously. You're on the same show as him this time around. I guess it's a good opportunity for you to impress and to show that you deserve to go alongside him.
Yeah. As you guys know, you know, there's a lot of cats in this sport, and I'm going to get rid of them one by one. You guys are going to see.
Do you know anything about who is next on May 14?
No idea, and it doesn't matter. You line them up, I'll knock them down. I've said it time and time again, and I'll keep saying it, and I'll keep proving it, I'll keep doing it. You guys are going to see, you know. You guys think I'm more talk, but, you know, I'm gonna let my hands start speaking. I'm gonna cut down with my talking and let the hands, you know, speak for themselves.
But you do ultimately want to fight Harry Garside, is that the plan?
I mean, you know, he crushed my Olympic dream. He came back from the pros, he came down to the amateurs and crushed my Olympic dream, so I want to get one back on him, you know what I mean? And it makes sense. Fighters are going to fight, you know what I mean? If he wants to fight, we can fight. I'll put it out there. I'm not going to keep saying his name, you know what I mean? I'll put it out there. If he wants to fight, he can fight. I don't know why he's fighting this Queenslander, you know what I mean? You're getting him over from Queensland, you're going to have to get him accommodation, flights, this and that. Mate, I'm here, 5-0, same weight class. Let's fight, let's bring it on, come on.
George, is that a fight for the future, do you think?
Oh, look, it's a very exciting one, and both of these guys are on great paths in their professional boxing career. Wherever that lands, it could land with these two standing in the ring one day. But I think for now, both of them are really exciting Australian talents who I'd love to see get that opportunity to keep proving it.
Okay, let's talk to another of the fighters that will form a part of this card, and I've got to mention this fight, Wade Ryan against Mounir Fathi. We've seen Wade Ryan in so many exciting fights over the years, really testing all of the fighters that he's come up against in Australian boxing, and now he takes on this man who is 8-1 as a professional with 8 stoppages, originally from Morocco, now living here in Sydney. Mounir Fathi, fantastic to see you again, and exciting to see you back in the ring. You will have seen Wade Ryan over the years. He's given a lot of people a lot of trouble. What do you think of Wade Ryan as a challenge for you?
Hi guys, I'm happy for this opportunity with Wade Ryan. I'm excited. I know I'm tough. Wade Ryan is tough, and I want to give to boxing fans very, very good fight. This fight is an interested fight. A lot of blood you want to see in the ring. Trust me, you want to see a good fight, this fight.
And if you can get
You want to see knockout. Trust me, you want to see knockout.
Oh, you're promising to knock out Wade Ryan. That'd be quite a statement against someone of Wade Ryan's caliber. Are you promising to knock out Wade Ryan?
Yes, I promise you, I can beat him. I can stop him. I know Wade Ryan is tough, yeah, but every skill of boxing, you have key. I have this key for the skills.
You're here on another No Limit show. We know the fighters around your weight division they are associated with. If you can get past Wade Ryan, what would you like to do over the course of 2025 in terms of some future opponents?
Excuse me, again?
Future opponents. Who would you like to fight if you can get through Wade Ryan?
Look, I'm happy for anyone with no limits. Anyone you want to give me for my division, I want to fight him. I don't want to mention any name. I'm happy. I'm open for anyone in my division. I'm happy. All of them.
All of them. Okay, thanks so much, Mounir Fathi, who will take on Wade Ryan on this big show on May the 14th at the Hordern Pavilion. And now we go to one of the headline acts, and so good to see him back in professional boxing. Harry Garside, who of course has represented Australia on the biggest stage of all, has collected a bronze medal at the Olympic Games and also a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games, a former Australian lightweight champion as a pro, but 3 years out of the ring. Harry, great to see you back. How have those 3 years been for you since we've seen you in professional boxing?
Yeah, I'm just extremely grateful to be back, and a massive thank you to the Rose brothers for putting me back on. And I just feel the back end of last year performance-wise for myself wasn't amazing with the Olympics, and I just felt like I needed to step away from the sport and just make sure I really wanted to, that my heart was still in it, and I really wanted to get back in the sport. And I'm just really grateful that I've got that passion back, and I'm excited to sort of see where the next sort of 3 years are looking for me.
Tell us about that passion and your drive and where you want to go in this run as a professional, because we all knew last time around that you had one eye on the next Olympics. Now it feels like there's a different vibe to what you're doing as a pro.
Yeah, the goals are simple for me. I think over the next 6 months it's just getting my boxing back to a good ability. I just feel like having so long out of the ring, and I stepped away from the sport for the back end of last year. I think over the next 6 months, getting myself back to a good ability, a good standard, and then over the next 3 years, I ideally want to win a world title and retire on home soil. So the goal's simple, but it's going to be a long journey to get there.
Yeah, right. So a world title is the ultimate goal. That's something you've envisaged for a long time, but does it feel real to you now, that goal?
Yeah, absolutely. I think stepping away from the sport and I think just finding your identity outside of the sport. I've done this sport for 20 years. I started as a young boy, and I think I needed to separate myself from Harry the boxer and find out what really means true to me. And I think boxing is just a massive part of who I am, and I'm just really excited to feel that passion back. And I feel like a young boy wanting to be at the boxing gym most days, and I feel like I did lose that for a period of time. I'm just grateful to have that back, and I'm excited to sort of see what the next sort of 3 years looks like.
And tell us what you know about Charlie Bell, 5-1 as a pro from Queensland. He will be your challenge on May the 14th. Have you had a chance to have a look at what he's done, or have you seen him around through the course?
No, I haven't seen too much, actually. I just know Queenslanders are quite tough. So I think his record's pretty good, 5-1, and he's fought some pretty good opponents so far. And so I'm just excited. I know that he'll probably come to fight, and just excited. 4 weeks today, so it's go time.
And a great experience as always to fight at somewhere like the Hordern Pavilion. But after a while out of the sport and maybe considering drifting away from it at times, it's pretty cool. You get to come back and co-headline an event like this at the Hordern and live on Main Event.
Yeah, I think it's massive to headline an event behind, Sammy Goodman, one of the best athletes we've got in the country at the moment. I'm just excited. Sydney's now my home. I'm originally a Melbourne boy, but I'm just excited. It's like 10 minutes away from my house, so it's perfect. In and out process on May 14.
Harry, what did you think about poor old Sam's run over the course of the start of the year with the cuts and the in-away fight coming and going and ultimately going away? You must have felt for it.
Oh, absolutely. I think the highs and lows of sport, Sammy's someone who puts himself out there so much and truly wants the best. He wanted to take on the arguably pound-for-pound champion at the moment, and he wanted to take it right in his backyard and bring those titles home. So I think heartbroken for him, but I just know this is just a little speed bump in his journey, and he'll get the dreams that he desires.
And just a final word for people who are tuning in specifically to see you and your return to professional boxing. Why should they be excited about what's coming up on May 14 and beyond?
I think I just really want to inspire people to, do things while we're young. I very much thought at the back end of last year that if I wasn't to get back in the boxing ring, this would be a regret that I'd have in my dying bed. So I'm just excited to get back in there and challenge myself and test myself and just see my boxing ability get back to a good level.
Okay, thanks so much. Harry Garside, really good to see him back and excited to see what he has in store for us on May 14 and in future fights this year and beyond. That'll take us to the co-headliner and Sam Goodman, 19-0 as a professional boxer with 8 stoppages. He's still number 1 in the world with the IBF, number 2 with the WBO and number 4 with the WBC. He takes on Cesar Vaca from Mexico, 19-1-1 from Guadalajara. And we're very excited to see Sam back in action. And Sam, incredibly, it'll be 10 months between fights once you get into the ring here on May the 14th. How do you sum up what has gone on over all that time?
Look, it's been a real tough time, you know, especially going through those setbacks. And look, I'm extremely grateful for the people I got around me, from my team at Complete Boxing, my manager. I've got the best manager in the game, Pete Matreski, and the Rose brothers at No Limit. So all of them, and my family as well, you know, have all got behind me, rallied behind me and supported me. And, you know, have made this a bit easier to get through for me. But look, I'm just excited to be back, to be healthy, and to get back to doing what I love, and that's box.
And tell us about Cesar Vaca and what you know about him. You fought Mexicans in the past, but this is Mexican style. This is a guy who's going to walk to you and wants to brawl. He wants to make it exciting. He's from Canelo's hometown in Guadalajara, which will be mentioned plenty in the build-up to this, I'm sure. But he's an exciting and compelling fighter. Tell us about the challenge that he presents and why you want it.
Well, no one comes from Mexico and doesn't come to fight, so you know what they all bring. But look, I know I'm the best in the division. I truly believe that, and I'm going to go out there and show him why, and really impose myself on him. So that's what it's about, doing what I do. I'm not too worried about what he's going to bring. I just know I'm going to be good enough to deal with it, handle him, and get through it and get on to world titles. That's still my goal. That's still where I want to be. But like I said, this is just about getting back in the ring and beating another world-level guy and showing the level I'm at.
This is being billed as a world title eliminator. Is it your expectation that you beat Cesar Vaca and you fight for a world title in your next fight?
Absolutely. That's what was the plan last year. And, you know, like I said, we had a little setback and with the cuts, and it just wasn't meant to be at that time. But I truly believe, you know, I get past this fight and it's onto world titles for me.
Talk to us about the cuts and the cuts. I'm sure you're sick of thinking about them, but how is everything now? What's the recovery been like for that process, and how confident are you that that is all behind you now?
Well, I'm wearing a head guard that makes me look like a stormtrooper at the moment, so I'm taking a bit of getting used to with that. And look, it's in bubble wrap a little bit at the moment for me, so I've got the full nose bar headgear and just doing everything I can to protect that eye in training. And look, I'm pretty confident that it is holding up, but it's just about getting to fight night for me now, and, you know, getting there the best I possibly can. So look, it's still nervous every time I get in for a spar. You know, I thought it'd be good last time, and, you know, like I said, it wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I've just got to do everything I can to protect it, be defensively, you know, aware in my sparring as well, and, you know, and just do the best I can.
With that in mind, this is a risky style of an opponent. He's going to be racing towards you and wanting to brawl. Surely you'd want someone who's going to dance around a bit, don't you?
Oh, I couldn't give a fuck once we get to fight night. Just get me in there. So, but it's like I said, it's about getting to fight night and getting there fit and healthy. So, but once we're in there, let the blood be. You know, it's I'll get stitched up after. As long as it's not before, it's sweet. And
we know that Naoya Inoue was the goal. We know that Cesar Vaca has been a sparring partner of Naoya Inoue as well. I guess that's a nice little thread to test yourself against someone who at least has shared a ring with him.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's still the goal is to get back there and get back to that fight. You know, he's still got all the belts, but to, you know, really go through and put a statement on one bloke he's used for sparring, you know, I think will throw me back in the mix. And my position with the IBF and the WBO is also going to, you know, just push me forward for that shot. So I know I've got a live guy in front of me, a tough Mexican, and I've got to handle him first and foremost, and, you know, that's what we're training for.
And Sam, just finally, your thoughts about this event, being at Sydney's historic Hordern Pavilion. You're headlining with Harry Garside there as well, and you can see the talent around you as well as some of the other fights that are a part of this card. What's it like for you in such an important stage of your career to be right at the top of an event like this, at a place like this?
It's good. I haven't fought at the Hordern in quite a while, and, you know, it's always a crazy atmosphere. They always show out, and yeah, I'm excited for it. It's a stacked card from top to bottom. So look, plenty of talent on the card. It's going to be a great night of fights, and yeah, I'm just really excited and just pumped to get back in there, Ben. Like, I'm itching. It feels like I've done 4 camps back to back, spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars on sparring partners and camps, and, you know, I don't have a pot to piss in at the moment. I need a fight. So, you know, I've got to put food back on the table. So, look, well, I'm just excited to get back to it, brother.
Okay, we can't wait to see you back in action. That is Sam Goodman, Harry Garside, as well as part of this stacked card. Of course, you can see it all live on Main Event Television, May 14, a Wednesday night. That is the day they'll be in action at Sydney's historic Hordern Pavilion. Goodman, Garside, and a stacked undercard as well, all brought to you by No Limit Boxing Promotions. Thanks so much for your company at today's press conference. I'm Ben Damon, and I'll see you at the fights. finest. Harry Garside. He's a legitimate superstar in the making.
I'm a ton, pain in the pound. Punch me to pain in the
Sorry, he's in trouble. Big shot from Harry Garside.
Can't take me down.
When it comes to football, Foxtel has you covered.
Unbelievable.
Watch NRL and AFL on Foxtel, plus the best football from around the world on your favourite streaming apps.
Oh, what a hit. This is sensational. What a goal.